Today's story begins on the sweeping grasslands of North America. Brilliant purple blooms with spiky orange cones that almost seem to glow in the summer sunshine. Today, these flowers are sold in pharmacies, planted in gardens around the world, and brewed into teas believed to help fight off colds. This is the story of Echinacea.
You know what's funny? Every garden center in May is screaming, "Buy me, buy me." Meanwhile, the plants that actually steal the show in August are quietly sitting in the corner looking like they just rolled out of bed. Turns out, gardening is a lot like high school. The popular kids in May weren't always the ones everyone remembers in August.
Hello and welcome to the Petal Plot Pod, a seasonal plant stories and garden tips podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Aneesa.
And I'm Eric.
Echinacea is a genus of flowering plants native exclusively to North America. There are 9 recognized species, but only 3 have become widely known for medicinal use. Echinacea purpurea, the purple coneflower, Echinacea angustifolia, the narrow-leafed purple coneflower, and Echinacea pallida, the pale purple coneflower. Their common name, coneflower, comes from the raised central cone packed with hundreds of tiny flowers. The scientific name comes from the Greek word echinos, meaning hedgehog or sea urchin, because the prickly seed head resembles the spines of both creatures. For thousands of years before European settlers arrived, Echinacea flourished across the Great Plains. Its deep taproot allowed it to survive scorching summers, bitter winters, drought, prairie fires, and grazing bison. Unlike many garden flowers that rely on irrigation, Echinacea evolved to thrive under some of the harshest conditions in North America. These hardy plants became an important part of one of the richest ecosystems on Earth, the tall grass prairie. Long before modern medicine, indigenous nations had developed extensive botanical knowledge through centuries of careful observation. Many plains tribes, including the Lakota, Dakota, Omaha, Pawnee, Cheyenne, Kiowa, Comanche, Crow, and others, recognized Echinacea as an extraordinarily valuable medicinal plant. The roots can be chewed fresh or dried for winter medicine. All parts of the plant, the roots, leaves, and flowers, can be brewed into tea or made into a poultice or dried to be smoked medicinally. Echinacea was used for toothaches, sore throats, coughs, infections, swollen glands, burns, wounds, headaches, insect stings, and digestive complaints, as well as being used to treat venomous snake bites.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
Okay, and then the end one there. Okay, throw in some snake bites. Why not?
Yeah.
Um, I didn't know it was used for all those things.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I feel like I've taken it for like colds, sore throats
Yeah,
moments.
definitely.
Yeah.
I've had it as a tea, but I've never chewed the roots and like fresh roots, and now I want to do that. I
Yeah.
think we have to have a taste test. I think we should get some Echinacea roots out of our gardens and have a little nibble. See
You
what
know,
it's
I'm
like.
thinking about moving some Echinacea, so maybe it's the perfect timing to like
It
pull off a
is.
little root and see how it tastes. But is there a difference between native and hybrids?
For medicinal uses, traditionally
Yeah.
just the native ones are used. Yeah, so apparently chewing the roots produces a tingling or numbing sensation in the mouth. So I'm like
Oh.
very curious. And that's what led people to believe that the plant possessed healing properties that could counter pain and inflammation. And there is a tissue destroying enzyme that is found in rattlesnake venom. Although let's be clear, if you get bit by a rattlesnake, get anti-venom. Don't go looking for Echinacea roots.
This is true. Although maybe the Echinacea is the closest thing if you're out and about. It might just be right next to you.
Start chewing on it on your way to get anti-venom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The doctors will be impressed. Be like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
smart thinking.
European colonizers quickly noticed indigenous healers using Echinacea, and word spread rapidly. By the late 19th century, Echinacea had become one of America's most popular herbal medicines. One group deserves some special attention. They were known as the eclectic physicians. The eclectics were licensed American doctors who combined conventional medicinal practices with botanical medicine. Founded in the 1820s, the eclectic movement arose in reaction to the invasive and often dangerous standard practices of the era. The physician's approach was rooted in working in harmony with the body's natural curative properties. Okay, this is reminding me
Hmm.
suddenly of like this memory I have of being on a field trip and going to Fort Snelling and then going to like the doctor's office and they had a tool for headaches to relieve headaches and it looks like a garlic press except it has a bunch of spikes and they would like rake it over your forehead to like draw blood out of
Bleed.
your head.
Yeah. Okay, that's like medieval. That's not what they
Right?
actually did, was it? Wasn't it? I feel
Yes,
like,
that was like
oh, that
standard
was some of
practice.
that. Oh, these eclectics, huh?
The
Um,
eclectics were against that kind of stuff. They,
oh, okay.
they were against the barbaric practices and felt like it should be more rooted in botanical medicine.
Yeah, I'm with them because that sounds way nicer than raking
It's
my forehead
no,
with
it sounds like
metal
medieval
spikes.
torture.
Yeah. You can have the metal spikes or you
Yeah,
can chew on this echinacea. Which
I'll
would you
take
like to
the
do?
echinacea.
Yeah. For sure.
Unlike many physicians of their day, they valued indigenous plant knowledge and carefully documented herbal remedies. Echinacea became one of their favorite medicines, and by the early 1900s, it appeared in medical textbooks, physician journals, and pharmacies throughout the United States. Doctors prescribed it for infections, blood poisoning, abscesses, sore throats, boils, and inflammatory illnesses. Some physicians considered it nearly a cure all. One famous doctor reportedly wrote that if limited to only one medicinal herb, he would choose echinacea. Then everything changed. The discovery of antibiotics transformed medicine, and drugs like penicillin worked dramatically faster than herbal preparations. By the 1940s and 50s, echinacea largely disappeared from American medicine. Ironically, while Americans lost interest, Europe became fascinated. German researchers began scientifically studying echinacea throughout the 20th century. Many clinical trials focused on whether it stimulated the immune system and shortened colds, and that research continues today, and echinacea remains one of the world's best-known herbal supplements. Popularity came with a price. Wild populations, especially Echinacea augustifolia, were heavily harvested during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Millions of roots were dug up from native prairies. Combined with agriculture, road building, and prairie destruction, wild populations declined dramatically. Today, most medicinal echinacea is cultivated rather than wild harvested, and conservationists continue to restore prairie habitats where echinacea naturally belongs. Gardeners often plant echinacea for its beautiful flowers, but pollinators consider it to be one of the best prairie buffet plants available. Native solitary bees gather pollen. Butterflies, including monarchs, painted ladies, and swallowtails, visit throughout the summer, and as the flower fades, birds arrive. Goldfinches cling upside down to the seed heads, picking seeds throughout autumn and even into winter. And rather than cutting the plants down immediately after blooming, many gardeners leave the seed heads standing until spring, providing both food and winter beauty. One reason echinacea has become so popular is that it asks for very little. Once established, its long taproot makes it surprisingly drought tolerant. Most species bloom from midsummer through early fall. Deadheading encourages more flowers, while leaving seed heads benefits birds. Or deadhead and throw the heads on the ground. Right, Eric? Or what's your practice for deadheading?
You mean when I go visit friend's place and just throw
You
leftover
just,
coneflower heads in their garden? Yeah. May or
where's
may not
Eric?
come back. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've just put them on the ground sometimes if I'm trying to promote like more flowering a little bit because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I feel like at the very beginning of them flowering, I'll do just minor deadheading to kind of promote more flowers
Mm-hmm.
before they kind of all just go to seed heads. But within a few weeks after doing that, then I leave it, just to
Mm-hmm.
let for the wildlife and everything. But I was looking at them now and I have like so many bees out on mine right
Mm-hmm.
now, which is awesome. I love seeing, all the pollinators knowing full well this fall it'll be for the
Yeah.
birds.
Yeah, I like to when I'm deadheading right now, I will throw the seed heads on the ground just because it's easier, like
Yeah.
rather than getting a tool or something like a bucket. But I
Yeah.
don't think the seeds are gonna stay viable because they'll probably just rot like right
Mm,
now. But then the seed heads that I leave up over the winter time when they like dry out and
yeah.
stuff in the springtime when I do the spring cleanup,
Yeah.
I'll cut the heads off and leave them in the ground while I'm removing all the stalks and leaves from last year.
Yeah.
So, and I think those seed heads are probably viable and then could potentially
Yeah.
grow more.
Yeah. It's worth mentioning you can't immediately cut something and think it's going to create seeds. Like it also needs to take time, while it's
Hmm.
done flowering, even to generate all those seeds that have been
Yeah.
pollinated now. And, I think sometimes we forget, how long something needs to like actually produce the seed yet.
Hmm.
Um, it's
Yeah.
not immediately after deflowering.
Yeah, totally. And I
Yeah.
think that Minnesota native flowers love to go through a cold winter as a seed.
Yes.
Some of them
Yeah.
require it, some don't, but they probably still like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Wild Echinacea is typically found in shades of purple, lavender, pink, or yellow with prominent coppery orange cones. Modern plant breeders, however, have transformed the genus into one of the most colorful perennials available. Garden centers now offer flowers in a million colors like white, yellow, orange, coral, peach, bright red, raspberry, lime green, soft pink, deep magenta. Some varieties have enormous blooms, and others have double flowers that resemble fluffy pom poms. There are also compact varieties for containers and tall cultivars for prairie style borders. So, how do plant breeders create all these new colors? The process begins with natural genetic variation. Plant breeders carefully cross different species and select seedlings that show interesting characteristics. Of the hundreds or sometimes thousands of young plants, only a handful may have the exact combination of traits they're looking for. A breeder might cross a purple flowering plant with a yellow flowering one and then grow the seeds. Some offsprings may be peach, pink, or coral. The best plants are then selected and crossed again, generation after generation, gradually strengthening the desired color. Creating a brand new echinacea variety can take many years. A breeder can spend a decade or more evaluating plants before introducing a single new cultivar to the market. One common misconception is that these colorful varieties are genetically modified organisms, or GMOs. But in reality, nearly all garden echinaceas are created through traditional plant breeding, the same process humans have used for thousands of years to develop new fruits, vegetables, and flowers. But as breeders have developed even more spectacular echinacea varieties, they've also sparked an interesting conversation among gardeners and conservationists. Is the showiest flower always the best one for wildlife? Traditional echinacea have a simple open flower structure. Their prominent central cone is made up of hundreds of tiny individual florlets, each producing nectar and pollen. Bees, butterflies, and other pollinators can easily land on the flower and reach these valuable food sources. Many of the new cultivars retain this open form while offering excellent and exciting colors. These varieties are often just as attractive to pollinators as the classic purple coneflower. However, some of the dramatic double-flowered cultivars tell a different story. In these plants, many of the tiny fertile flowers in the central cone have been transformed into extra petals, creating blooms that resemble fluffy pom-poms or carnations. While these flowers are undeniably eye-catching, they often produce less pollen and nectar, and the altered flower structure can make it much more difficult for bees and butterflies to reach the food that remains. Pollinators simply can't access the pollen as easily because there are too many petals in the way. So,
Yeah.
Eric, this brings up the conversation of, should we only be planting native flowers? How do you handle that question at the garden store?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's still your garden, your choice. I mean, I feel
Your
like,
garden.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you love natives and that's all you want, then great. You should
Yeah.
do that, right? But just like you were saying, there are many hybrids and others that are still great beneficiaries to
Hmm.
the pollinators and birds anyways. But I also feel like gardens should be diverse too. And I think there should be moments where if you really enjoy certain flowers or perfect example, and I think I've just like shared this on Instagram about the one daylily I have in my place. And if you've been listening, you know that I hate daylilies, but there is literally one that has been allowed to stay. But it's like double, triple, petaled. And so
Yeah.
I know that like the pollen from that is probably not very easily accessible, but I'm
Hmm.
okay with it because it's like in one 18-inch section
Yeah.
of my garden, and everything else I know is providing pollen. So I feel like you can mix. That's okay, right?
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
normal.
I totally agree with you. I think you should follow your heart for sure and make a garden that you love. And I think it makes sense to plant native flowers and they look good. So why would you not? But then also plant
Yeah.
whatever attract. Like I like to have a combo. I have a lot of natives next to things that I just want anyway that are not native.
Hmm.
That maybe I grow them for medicine or I grow them for their looks. And I'm okay
Yeah.
with that. I think and I also think you can native gardens can get really messy, looking
Hmm.
aesthetically messy looking. I think having a little diversity helps kind of rein that in as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
like the
And they
mix.
help with like structure and sometimes fill in the bloom times that sometimes natives are not blooming. There's a
Mhm.
lot of natives that bloom late in the season, and
Mhm.
sometimes there's a few gaps in there as well. So sometimes putting in some other non natives that fill that void can be great.
Yeah, absolutely. The next time you walk through a summer garden and spot those familiar purple petals surrounding a spiky orange cone, remember that you're looking at far more than an ornamental flower. You're seeing a proud member of the North American prairie, a companion to bison and butterflies, a medicine carried through generations of indigenous knowledge to research laboratories and gardens around the world.
So, today we're talking about plants that look better in August than June. So, Anissa, what's the busiest time at the garden center?
May, of course.
Yeah, right? And I think it's funny when you think about it because you think of how busy and how much is purchased during the May timeframe. And we don't always see all those people come back throughout the season, right? I feel like some people
Mhm.
have come, gotten what they needed, and we all know we're attracted to plants that are blooming in their moment, right? When it happens. When you think of professional designers, I think we think also about August and later in the season. Spring kind of happens almost automatically, but August kind of takes some planning because if you're buying early in the season, you have to kind of choose plants that might just be hanging out in the corner, right? So I thought today we'd just talk about different plants that just look better later in the season. So, Anissa, what's like the top plant, and I'll be broad, perennial shrub, tree, whatever, rock, that you just think looks better later in the season than it does in May?
Basalt.
I love that you had an answer for the rock. Fair.
No, I mean, aster's the first thing that comes to my mind
Yeah.
because it doesn't look like much of anything, and then it suddenly looks absolutely gorgeous and brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking of, I mean, you can go with some really obvious, like hardy hibiscus, looks like nothing.
Mm,
I mean, it
true,
probably hasn't
yep,
even broke
mhm.
dormancy. And that's like a big show. But I think also like the big category, like hydrangeas, even
Mhm.
early in the season are just leafing out. But I mean, their real show is happening later in the season. And I think they're a great one to utilize if you're trying to think of like what can flower for me, like midsummer all the way through the fall. And
Mhm,
hydrangeas can
absolutely.
really easily do that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you have hydrangeas in your garden, right?
Well, I don't, except for the fact that I got a volunteer hydrangea this year. What
Oh.
the heck? I could not believe my eyes. So I've never planted a hydrangea. There aren't even any, I think, very close. Well, my neighbors across the street have paniculatas, but this was an
Yeah.
arborescens hydrangea. I was just like looking in this corner of my garden and I see this white flower and I was like, what is that? And I'm
Yeah.
like, a hydrangea? Like,
Yeah.
there's no way. And like based on the size of it and the amount of flower heads on it, it can't be its first
Mm.
year. So this has to be like probably second or third year that it's just been
What?
it's like
That's so
quietly
great.
back there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could
It's
not
been
believe that.
plotting this whole time
I
for you
have
to
never
come find it.
even heard of like a volunteer hydrangea. Have
Yeah.
you? Like,
I don't think so. I
that's
mean, you
crazy.
can easily like, grow them from like soft wood cuttings or hardwood cuttings. There's processes for that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think that normally happens too often for everyone.
No, it's crazy. It
You're
looks really
lucky.
good too, actually. It fits the vignette like perfectly back there.
Yeah. Well,
But
Mother Nature creating her
yeah,
her art form.
crazy.
Yeah, I have quite a few hydrangeas in my garden, and I feel like now they're all in like full peak, right? And so initially I'm looking across my garden and I have these white flowers just kind of flooding, areas of the garden, which are pretty. But what I'm more excited about are how many of those will start to turn color as we hit cooler temps. And even we've had some like, big heat waves come through recently, and I feel like that has even like kind of like pushed them to kind of get stressed out a little bit and start pushing some of that other color that'll happen. So I've got like my quick fires are starting to get tinges of that pink and even reddish tones to the petals, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's so
um
fun.
yeah. Do you when you we work at the garden center, what do you feel like is like the go-to hydrangea that everyone like, let's do both. One that, everyone asks for, and then one that, like, no one knows about yet that we need to tell more people about.
I mean, people definitely love the quick fire. That's a really popular one.
Yeah.
Um, I think Little Lime Punch is really fun though. I sort of
Yeah.
like the variety of color in that one.
I like that one. I also hear a lot about, like, Annabelle. We hear a lot about endless summer varieties.
Yeah.
Not always for the better, but they definitely are successful for many people. And the one I love to push is, Baton Rouge,
Oh
which is, like
yeah.
has a little bit of a larger petal size to it than others do. So, similar panicle hydrangea, but, like, smaller shrub, like, under 4 feet, but the petals are, like, larger.
Oh, that's cool.
Um
Yeah.
Other plants to mention, and we can kinda chat a little bit about each one of these. Anemones.
I
Do you
love
have
anemones.
I love
Love,
anemones.
love.
I love them and I hate them at the same time.
What?
Okay, I know, right? So I have, I think, the grape leaf anemone, has this, like,
Yes.
gorgeous pink flower on it, and I love
Mhm.
them because they bloom forever,
Mhm.
and I love them. I hate them because they move around, and I'm a tidy gardener of sorts, and so where I've put them is not where they continue to be, and so I find myself weeding them out, and even then, like, it's a little bit of a chore, but
Mm.
they're really nice.
I want them to do that for me. I have
Yeah.
one planted out in my boulevard, and I don't
Mm,
know how it ended up. Maybe it moved. Maybe I just crammed it in there late in the year. But it's really
yeah,
close to a big bunch of Oriental poppies that I have, and so
yeah,
I feel like early in the season those leaves aren't getting enough light. Maybe like it's still alive, but it doesn't
maybe.
flower as well anymore. And so I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe it's
I mean,
too.
I have mine in full on sun and they love me for
Yeah.
it. And so I probably have like fed the beast, you know what I mean? But the
Yeah.
flowers look like little butterflies dancing above the leaves. Like
They're
they look
so
really
pretty.
yeah.
Yes, I love them, and I
So,
love having a pink fall color, like,
yeah.
pink, is just yeah, I love seeing pink in the fall, and that's a
Yep.
great plant for that.
Yeah. Joe Pye weed. Do you have Joe Pye weed? I do not.
Volunteered. It
But
volunteered. I wouldn't
yeah.
that plant, I feel, is, like, a little too big for its britches for me, like,
Mm,
it's just a big plant, and,
it can get very big. Yeah.
yeah, it volunteered in my yard or in my boulevard, which is kinda cool because it ended up in a good spot. It's, like, with ironweed
Yeah.
and some other, like, super tall
Oh, yeah.
natives. So it
Right.
looks good, and it's,
Yep.
but it spreads really fast, so I wanna
Yeah.
really keep it under control, and,
Yeah.
actually, Tora advised me last year. She's like, "After the flowers are done flowering, cut them off. Don't let the seeds
Yeah.
fall." And so that's what I do that too. So because I
Yeah.
can't have my boulevard be nothing but Joe Pye weed.
That's a great thing. I mean, it's the same with the anemone, and that blows around, right? It's like fluffy
Mhm.
afterwards, and so it'll blow around of sorts. We talked about Echinacea, but I think the other one that feels always similar as the Rudbeckia. I do have a tall variety that gets like 6 feet tall. It's just a yellow only flower with a yellow eye, and I actually place it between some of my evergreens, and so it's kind of fun because it towers up and then it just peeks out over the garden fence and just has these tall yellow flowers up in the sky.
Hmm.
And I think that's a fun one, but you have to have a good spot for it because it's quite tall.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Culver's root, that's a pretty one that's flowers in the
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I like that one. Yep. Ornamental grasses. So I am a fan of little blue stems.
Mm-hmm.
I have a new one. I feel like we only have a few of these at the garden center still, but it's like red fox, blue stem. It's like it keeps like tidier, I feel like, because like I have standing ovation, which I love for the color and that bluish tone and then purpley colors it
Yeah.
gets. But it gets a little bit bigger than I want it to. And red fox is like 18 inches wide, very upright, and gets a little bit more of a reddish tone to it, but same bluish green leaves to it, which are kind of fun.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the other big one, I think, sedums. And I like the ones that are like burgundy colored because I like that they give something early in the season too. And
Mm-hmm.
so you can have that nice color pop, but then they kind of get this other flower color then on top in the fall time, which is really pretty, like bright pinks and fuchsias and such too. I was thinking of shrubs, and I was thinking like clethra, summer sweet. It usually is doing its bloom and very fragrant.
Very
Um,
fragrant.
yeah, I
Long bloom
do.
time.
Yeah, I do have two in my garden. The only thing I don't like is that it doesn't like break dormancy soon enough for me. Like it still
Hmm.
looks like sticks for a while as we go through like May a little bit, and then it starts putting on its leaves, and I kind of just wish it had leaves sooner. That's all.
I thought mine was dead. I thought it was
Really?
fully dead because the rabbits got to it. I just planted it last year and it was like 3 feet tall. And I did put rabbit proof fencing around, but it wasn't tall enough for the amount of snow that we had. And the
Yeah.
rabbits just decimated it. And so I thought it was
Oh,
gone.
no.
But I also didn't take it out. And then,
Yep.
early summer, I'm like, oh, you're making leaves.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
That's awesome. I was thinking of one plant that I think not a lot of people think about, but bugbane,
Ooh.
or Cimicifuga. I think it actually has got a new name too, but it's got great lacy dark foliage, and then it's got this nice tall white bottle brush flower that has like amazing fragrance.
Oh, you're
Um,
talking
uh,
about snake root.
yeah, or snake
I
root. That's also known as snake roots.
I never hear it called bugbane, so I was like, "What the
Yeah.
heck is he talking about?" And I'm like, "Oh, snake root."
Yeah, it's got like 5 names, which
Yeah.
maybe is like why no one knows it because they're like, I don't know, are you talking about Cheryl or Peter or Susie? Apparently they're all the same person, you know? Um, but I feel like it's like a great one to have in the garden. And I have,
Yeah.
funny enough, a little hedge of it on the side of my house. And I love it when it's blooming. It's along a sidewalk. And so you get
Yeah.
all that scent at that time.
I love
Uh,
that too. I have that in my garden as well. And, did you know that the name Cimicifuga means bug repeller,
Really?
hence the name bugbane?
Does it actually repel? I didn't even realize that. I do think
Hmm.
it is like rabbit resistant from what I've seen. I have one that's out in like rabbit country and they haven't touched it. They'll touch everything else but have left it alone. So maybe
I'm gonna Google it quick if bugbane
another
yeah, yes,
reason
it does. So the
why it's
leaves
amazing.
historically, the leaves and the crushed roots are widely used to repel insects.
Gosh, look at that.
Mhm.
I love it.
They've been used to repel bed bugs and mosquitoes.
Oh, okay. Now I need to get more. Okay,
Yeah.
Minnesota, we need to get more of this plant because we've got plenty of
Mhm.
mosquitoes that we can shoo away. So,
Yes. Not edible, though. Not edible.
no. And other things to give people ideas, I was thinking of just like bulbs, right? And you can get things like autumn crocus, which bloom late in the season. It's a crocus, and you can get saffron as well. There's like the surprise lily, or like I feel like they call it like dead lily or something like that, because it just pushes out this flower first and then leaves happen. And I also feel like, I don't know about you, but like my gladiolas, lilies are a great one. I have all my
Mhm.
lilies are doing their thing. They smell amazing in the garden.
Mhm.
Any others I'm missing, Aneesa? I was trying to think of my top ones. Oh, a blazing star. Oh my gosh, why didn't we talk about that one?
Oh, yeah,
I
blazing
love a
star.
blazing
Mhm.
star. I love a meadow blazing star, actually.
Mhm.
I feel like
Yeah,
I
I do
love
too.
the slight funkiness that it has with these little bursts of like pink going up. And the monarchs and butterflies love it.
Yeah, I have the dense blazing star, and over the
Mm,
years changed into this really compact little plant. So it doesn't get like
Oh,
super tall blooms, but again, it's in
yeah.
a shady spot. It's in
Yep.
competition with tree roots. So
Ah,
it's survived. It's still there. It's getting sort of fuller every year, but the size of the flowers are significantly smaller, which I think is so interesting. So
yep.
accidentally made compact blazing star.
Yep. Yep. That's awesome. So I'll end kind of just in like a design segment here. And so most people kind of design their gardens while standing in them, but like in May. And so
Mhm.
everything looks amazing. Garden centers are overflowing, trees are fresh and green, perennials are blooming. But then like August arrives, right? And those spring flowers disappear and the annuals are tired, and the excitement kind of fades. So instead, I feel like the best design advice is to encourage people to like walk in their yards in August and ask like where is the color, where are the flowers, and where are those kind of empty spaces, and kind of design from that moment, right? And think in layers. So if your garden looks amazing in May but resembles a garage sale by August, don't worry. You're not alone. Just remember, every great garden deserves a dramatic third act. Hey, Aneesa, do we have a listener question for today?
Oh, yeah, we do. Let me see here. Okay. Penny writes in and asks, I cleared out the overgrowth by my driveway. Almost too good of a job. What are some quick growing plants to help with erosion control, and what should I do in the meantime?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm assuming for erosion control, we're on a slope.
That's what I was thinking. There must be a bit of a slope.
Got it. I mean, I think one, I always think there's plants you can plant. I also think you need to think sometimes about like your hardscape right away, or if you're putting something down just to maintain it in the short term, which sometimes can be mulch if it's not super steep, but mulch also can wash away. There's a netting you can use that will
Like
help.
if you want to plant something by seed even, you could do that netting,
Yeah.
throw the netting down. But you're right,
Yep.
like maybe think about a small retaining wall at the base or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. If that's not what you need and this is like just like a gentle slope or whatever, and you're not worried in the short term, because it'll take a little bit for plants to grow and to actually stabilize the soil
Mhm.
too, right?
Oh,
But
you know what would look so pretty there is
yeah.
prairie drop seed, like a little field of
Yeah.
prairie drops. I love when you see at least like
I,
15 to 20 prairie drop seeds perfectly spaced.
yeah.
It's like a green ocean. It's beautiful and
Yeah.
it's wavy and like if I had a slope, that's what
Yep.
I would do. That would be
Yep.
so pretty.
That would be pretty. I mean, little blue
Mhm.
stems are great, have good
Mhm.
root structure. I mean, you can also do just ground covers, like wild ginger, foam
Oh yeah.
flower, tapestry foam flower.
But I guess too, if thinking about something that grows really fast,
Yeah.
putting down like clover seed would be something that would be a fast. Or
Yeah.
you know what I would vote for, Eric, is mint. Mint in your yard, Penny. You won't regret it.
Or you might. Just know what you're deciding for sure. There's also some like shrubs. I don't know if they're wanting to put shrubs in this space at all, but there's definitely shrubs you can use. I mean, like the dogwoods are great. Hazelnut is great. Just depending on like, if you're trying to
Those
create
are big boys.
those are big ones. But in spaces where you want to do that, I'm not sure what this backs up to or whatnot, but there's definitely some shrubs too that you could use. Even some lower growing ones, that would be fine. Like some of the chokeberry varieties
Mhm.
that only are like 2 feet tall or a foot tall, even. Or there's, what was I thinking of? What's the low growing one, Aneesa, that grows
Sumac?
grows in, yeah, I was like grows in the ditch. Sumac. But there's a low growing sumac as well
Mhm.
that would kind of bramble down through, totally depending on the
Yeah,
look you want. But I
yeah,
think I agree with you, Anissa. I'd go with the prairie drop seed or
yeah.
Pennsylvania sedge even would work. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like prairie dropsy, it's so soft looking that it
Yeah.
feels just it's sort of like feminine and healing in some way or something like I don't know, like they're
Mm,
just it's graceful. It's a graceful looking
yeah.
plant, and that
Look
would
at
be
you
really
tap into emotion with that one.
pretty.
Design with design with feeling for
Yes.
sure. Well, I mean, and what a great way to like walk through, if you're walking by it all the time. It's such a nice calming
Hmm.
feel too. Yeah.
It has a calming, peaceful feeling to it. One of my neighbors has a prairie dropseed front yard, and I absolutely adore it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
If you have a gardening question you'd like us to answer, please write to us at petalandplot@gmail.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone you know and click the follow button to hear our next episode.
As garden designers here at Petal and Plot, we also offer year-round in-person and virtual gardening consultations and custom garden designs as well. Want to see more of what we're up to? Please follow us on Instagram at Petal and Plot. That's PETALNPLOT.